Envy. Jealousy. Kemi was like a sister to Adaobi. But Adaobi always wanted to have everything that belongs to Kemi. But what she did at the end will surprise you.
The sun cast a golden glow over the dusty streets of Oberland, Lagos, as children's laughter echoed through the narrow alleys. Two little girls, Adaobi and Kemi, ran hand in hand through the market, their faces glowing with youthful innocence. They were inseparable, known to everyone in the community as the sisters without blood. Kemi was the lively one, her energy contagious. Her dark skin gleamed in the sunlight, and her bright eyes held a determination far beyond her years. Even as a child, she dreamed big, speaking of becoming a lawyer, building a big house, and traveling the world. Adaobi, on the other hand, was quieter, with a gentle demeanor that often masked her insecurities. Though she admired Kemi's boldness, a seed of envy had unknowingly been planted in her heart, even in those early days. Their families were neighbors in Oberlande's bustling quarters. The cramped streets bustled with the chatter of traders, the smells of freshly roasted plantains and pepper soup wafting through the air. Life was hard, but there was a sense of unity in the community. The girls spent their childhood playing by the lagoon, attending the same schools, and sharing secrets under the moonlit sky. As they grew older, their paths began to diverge. Kemi's academic brilliance earned her a scholarship to study law at a prestigious university in the UK. Her departure was a bittersweet moment. Adaobi, who had barely passed her secondary school exams, waved goodbye with a forced smile, hiding her disappointment and fear of being left behind. For the next few years, letters and calls connected them. Kemi's life in the UK was a whirlwind of successes. She graduated with honors, found a high-paying job, and traveled to exotic locations she had once described in their childhood dreams. Adaobi, however, remained in Oberland, juggling menial jobs to make ends meet. When Kemi returned, it was as though a queen had descended on the streets of Oberland. She was stunning, a tall, elegant woman with an air of sophistication. Her hair, now styled in luxurious braids, framed her radiant face. She moved into a lavish apartment in Lekki, away from the chaos of their old neighborhood. But she never forgot Adaobi. "Ida, you'll always be my sister," Kemi would say, pulling her into a warm embrace. Kemi's generosity was boundless. She frequently invited Adaobi to her home, bought her gifts, and even helped her start a small business. But instead of feeling grateful, Adaobi's resentment grew. She couldn't help but compare their lives. One evening, sitting in Kemi's tastefully decorated living room, its cream-colored walls adorned with abstract art and its floor covered in plush Persian rugs, Adaobi couldn't hold back her envy. She listened as Kemi spoke excitedly about her engagement to Jide, a handsome and successful architect. "I'll be moving to Canada after the wedding," Kemi said, her smile wide. Adaobi's heart sank. The thought of losing Kemi and her access to this new world terrified her. She plastered on a smile and congratulated her, but inside, her mind was racing. That night, as she walked through the dimly lit streets of Oberland, back to her small one-room apartment, a sinister idea began to take shape. What if Kemi's life could be hers? What if she didn't have to return to this cramped room with its peeling paint and leaky roof? Weeks later, Adaobi put her plan into motion. She began subtly isolating Kemi, planting seeds of doubt in her friendships, and even hinting that Jide might not be as faithful as he seemed. Kemi, trusting Adaobi implicitly, believed every word. One rainy evening, Kemi invited Adaobi over for dinner. The rain drummed against the windows as they laughed and reminisced about their childhood. But Adaobi's laughter was hollow. Her plan was ready. That night, she slipped something into Kemi's wine, a concoction she'd bought from a local herbalist. When Kemi collapsed, Adaobi's hands trembled, but she didn't stop. She staged the scene to look like Kemi had left in a hurry. Over the next few days, she spread rumors about Kemi's sudden departure, claiming she had moved abroad early. Adaobi quickly moved into Kemi's apartment, her belongings replacing her friends. She took over Kemi's life, even convincing Jide to delay the wedding and allow her to help him process the shock of Kemi's disappearance. For a while, Adaobi reveled in her new life. She wore Kemi's designer clothes, entertained her friends, and basked in the luxury of her home. But the guilt and paranoia began to eat away at her. Every shadow seemed like Kemi's ghost. Every knock at the door made her heart race. Her undoing came months later when Jide found an old diary of Kemi's. In it, Kemi had written about her growing suspicions of Adaobi's behavior. Jide, now suspicious himself, began investigating Kemi's disappearance. He uncovered inconsistencies in Adaobi's story and confronted her. Backed into a corner, Adaobi confessed everything. The community that once embraced her now shunned her. Kemi's family, devastated by the truth, sought justice. Adaobi's life of luxury crumbled as quickly as it had been built. In the end, Adaobi returned to Obalende, not as the queen she had dreamed of being, but as a cautionary tale of how envy and betrayal could destroy lives.